There he is. Got him. Big one. Big fish. Oh God, come on. Jeez. It's like he's fighting inward. It's so annoying. Oh. All right, well, weird. Seems like he's just not too energetic today. It is getting colder here. Hook came right out. Would you look at that? Perfect way to finish out the evening. He's ready to go. There you have it, guys. These Mothra flies are going on sale. You can reach out to me. I can make a custom color for you too. The nice part about this fly is that moths are everywhere, and so you can pretty much fish these anywhere. And moths of different variations grow throughout all seasons except winter, pretty much. I mean, I've been seeing more coming out now in fall. You know, early summer I see probably the most. The first thing I actually like to prepare is the wing. And there are two main ways that I like to do this. The first is with a pheasant tail, if your moths are kind of this brownish color. And I like to pick a section of the pheasant tail that has a stripe. And I'll cut out the shape kind of around there. So I made a cut on this side, and then I'll do the other side, and then I'll snip it right in the middle. All right, so when you're done trimming it and shaping it how you want, it'll come out looking something like this. And as you can kind of tell, it's a closed wing design, so you don't have to make the wings super wide or showy or anything like that. It's a very compact, lightweight design. The pheasant tail really, really does look like moth wings when you tie it onto the fly, which is really cool. But there have been these gray miller moths popping up in my area lately, and so I'm using these rooster neck feathers. This time of year, the fish in my area are really picky about a delicate presentation. So we're actually just gonna tie these on like so. All right, so we're just gonna start with our brown thread that I'm using in this case. Go ahead and tie it all the way to the back. And then from here, we'll go ahead and tie our hackle in first. And then we'll put our dubbing noodle on there. All right, so we've trimmed off the stem there. And then we'll go ahead and secure that. Just going up the shank and back. You want to minimize the amount of wraps just to save weight. But then we're going to go ahead and grab our dubbing. So just twisting that on there as we normally would. We want to make the butt end narrower. So we're going to have sort of a tapered body, but we can have it nice and thick. We probably will brush it out for extra texture later on. And again, we don't want to use too much. We do want to make a nice mothy shape. The key is to get the shape as natural as possible without using so much materials that this fly makes too much of a splash. Because if you use too much materials with it, that's exactly what's going to happen. And you won't catch as many fish that way. We are going to leave a little bit of space there at the tip so we can tie on our wing. I like to use a bigger size hackle for this. That way we can also trim the hackle according to the shape that we want. So you can really fine tune, play around with this fly. See what works best for you and according to your moths in your area. Cool. Always like to tuck that stem in real nice. That way we don't risk our hackle unraveling on us. Then what we're going to go ahead and do is kind of pinch these down and cut off the top ones. That way we make space for our wing to sit right there. I'm doing the rooster neck version of this fly, but if you're doing the pheasant tail, pretty intuitive, you just tie it right over the top. But with these ones, I tie them in one at a time because it just makes life much easier. Just kind of overlap them like so. Looks great. So next we're going to go ahead and cut out our piece of foam. So for this one, since it's pretty lightweight already, we don't need much. So I'm going to cut out probably a small triangle or whatever shape you feel is best, and shape it so that it's tucked behind the wing. So if you're imagining a fish looking up at it, then it's going to be on top. You don't want them to see very much foam, if any, because that's kind of the only more unnatural looking material on this fly. But I'm going to go ahead and cut out my piece of foam and tie it right on top. So for this fly, this is a pretty good size, but if you're using the pheasant tail version, again, that fly's a little bit heavier, so you can just put a little bigger piece of foam on top. We go ahead and place that right there. So 1, 2, 3, pull up, kind of like an elk hair caddis. Pull up. And then once we're happy, just go ahead and whip finish. And then this one will be pretty much done. Go ahead and put a little UV resin there for our head cement. So at this point, I'm definitely gonna trim just some of this hackle. Still wanna maintain that tapered look. You could call it done at this point, but if you wanted to add durability, you could go ahead and secure the foam to the wing using some UV resin. I'm going with a lightweight design, so I'm going to stick with it how it is. But yeah, this is a updated version of my signature fly, Mothra. Here's an example of one where I did the whole 9 yards. I also added some EP fibers for visibility since we're not too concerned about saving weight with this version. As you can see, that like closed wing look from underneath looks great. And then we've also sealed the wing around with UV resin. So this one will definitely last a lot longer. And I would definitely use this one in a situation where I know a delicate presentation is not as important. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Subscribe and like for more. Comment any video suggestions. I always love hearing your thoughts, and hope you have a good rest of your day. Namaste. Thanks for watching.